Hello, friends. It's the
Hey.
Cinemondo podcast with Kathy, Mark, and Burk. Talking about today, we're going to talk about a movie trailer, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
I know
Yes.
nothing about this film. Absolutely
That's-
nothing.
That's
Well, you know it's Malayalam.
it's
Yeah,
my
well, now I know
Yep.
that you said it.
You also know that it is coming on. Its the release date is February 20th. You also know the title is Officer on Duty.
I love
Okay.
the name. Love the name already. It's a great.
Yeah.
Name. Yep.
Yeah. And it is directed by Jithu Ashraf, and it's his first film as director. He's been like a second unit director or assistant director on Errata, which was a great Malayalam sort of crime drama.
Yeah,
Right.
that was
Okay.
So good.
Years ago.
Mohanlal. So good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that should wet your whistle for the trailer. And do we know what this is about?
Officer who's
Officer who's on duty.
who is
What
like
else do you need to know,
duty?
really? I mean, officer on duty.
I'm
I don't
sure
know.
that there's a little more, but let's check out the trailer and see what we can find. You know,
Let's see if we can figure out what is this movie about, and then we'll talk
Yeah.
about what it's about because we got to see
Okay.
the trailer first.
I'm not going to say those 3 words because I'll get shit for it. So let's go ahead and just.
Without further,
without. Yeah.
I said
Okay.
it. I did it.
Okay, here we go.
Ready?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I like that police car.
I know.
സാർ ഹരിശങ്കർ സാർ പറഞ്ഞൊരു കേസിന്റെ അന്വേഷണത്തിലായിരുന്നു.
I love a crime drama so much.
അതിലൊരു കുഴപ്പമുണ്ട് സാറേ.
സാർ ഞങ്ങൾ ഇവിടെ വന്നപ്പോൾ ജനങ്ങൾ ഭയങ്കര അക്രമാസക്തരായിരുന്നു.
കാലൊടിച്ച് പറഞ്ഞല്ലേ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് പരാതി ഒന്നുമില്ലെന്ന്.
ഒരു ക്രൈം സീനിൽ നിന്ന് കിട്ടുന്ന തെളിവുകളെ പരസ്പരം കണക്ട് ചെയ്തുണ്ടാക്കുന്ന കഥയാണ് കുറ്റാന്വേഷണം.
നിന്റെ ഈ സ്വഭാവം കൊണ്ടാ ഡിവൈഎസ്പി ആയിരുന്നു ഇപ്പൊ സി ആയിട്ട് കേസ് കളിച്ചോണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്.
ആണ്. കാരണം അകത്ത് ബലപ്രയോഗത്തിനോ മറ്റോ ലക്ഷണങ്ങളൊന്നും കാണുന്നില്ല. മാത്രമല്ല വീടകത്തൊന്ന് കുറ്റിയിട്ടിരിക്കുകയായിരുന്നു.
Locked door mystery.
Oh,
ഇത് ആത്മഹത്യയല്ല, കൊലപാതകമോ. ഇന്നലെ രാത്രി ഇവിടെ ആരൊക്കെയോ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്.
ഏതാണ് നിനക്ക്?
We're gonna kill each and every one of those fucks. And we're gonna have a great time doing it.
I didn't
നീ എസ് റിപ്പോർട്ട് കൊടുത്തേക്ക്.
No, they didn't.
ഐ എം അൺഫിറ്റ് ഫോർ ദിസ് ജോബ്.
That guy's good. Cool logo. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, officer.
Oh, that's good. Who is that guy? He is amazing.
Yeah, he's pretty
Okay.
intense.
Wow, that was fantastic.
You know what's interesting about that is I was thinking of Errata because initially it started out like it seemed like it was almost in the same police, like a precinct or whatever, it had the same vibe.
Yeah.
I say, I wonder if this is sort of like a sequel to it, but it's not. And it gets a little bit more sort of actiony towards the end of the
Mhm.
trailer, with that bad guy doing that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it looks intense.
Well,
It
that's
looks
kind of
pretty
unusual.
good.
But unusual for me because I watch a lot of these movies. You don't see a ton of gang violence in Indian film. Like you see a lot of like the creepy serial killers or, the kind of organized crime. But the
Right.
full mob was kind of unique, and I love the idea that they're also incorporating some of the live streaming idea, like
Right.
people through. That's also really cool. So the idea that they have this mob who's like attacking the police force is very cool.
Yeah, kind of scary. Kind of assault on precinct
Very
13-ish.
Yes.
But the idea too of this, the kind of thing that I always talk about is the kind of street level crime thing where it's not this one seemed, on the level of heightened reality, where there's some movies that are really right street level realism, absolute, Martin Scorsese level street stuff, to use a Western example, but then they get a little bit more where it becomes a little bit more like a Bruce Willis kind of movie. You know what I mean? Where there's a little bit more superhuman aspects to it. And then there's the ones where, you know, it's all about the sunglasses and the, you know, picking up motorcycles and throwing them and, you know, that kind of thing. And this one seems to be a little bit above the low, you know, the street level, because it seemed like this bad guy was such a cinematic bad guy. Really cool looking, that one shot where he was, you know, doing the Kubrick
blood
look
splatter
and the blood spat. Yeah. Yes. And it just looks like I mean, it looks grim, but it looks like it's probably a really fun movie.
Yeah. There's a little bit of leaping through the air, a little bit of that.
Yeah,
but not
the leaping,
but
it wasn't over the top.
It wasn't overdone. Like, especially the early part of the trailer, it seems like
very grounded,
very street level. But then you bring him in, and it takes it up that half notch, which makes it really cool. I mean, that makes it like, oh my god, this guy is really kind of like scary in this in a believable world versus the hyper stuff, which is never believable. It's just cool to look at.
Exactly.
So, and the locations and the settings look like real, you know, like the real streets of the real place. It's not like hyper realized or romanticized or whatever. And the beautiful, like sometimes they'll throw a lot of fog in there and some colored lights and things like that. This just looked like natural lighting and, you know, the real streets and the real people. And, you know, there's a shot of him with his family, it looks like, and like we're going to see a little bit of maybe the way a cop, if there's some kind of vendetta thing going on, or if there's some kind of like, I'm going to get you kind of thing, you have to think, what about his family? Or what about, you know, and you're like, suddenly he's thinking about it. And it's like, you put a family into the mix there, and it's like, God, I gotta protect myself, and I have to worry about my family when I'm not with them, you know?
Yeah. Well, they have, you know, the actor in Kunchako Boban. He was in Bougainvillea, which is another really great Malayalam film that came out last year. And then the actress Priya Mani, I think her name is. She was in Madan and Patan. And so I don't know if I even saw her. There might have been a shot of her, but this is about the dudes. The description in IMDb, which is sort of, you take it with a grain of salt, but just extra context. Demoted police inspector. So, you know, he's did something bad. You kind of got the impression that something went wrong in the beginning of the trailer, like where they were kind of saying, okay, so a demoted
Dirty
police
Harry
inspector, investigates a counterfeit jewelry racket. That's kind of interesting. Becoming entangled in a dangerous web of crime that puts his life at stake, and probably his family. And that's always what I think is interesting too. A cop who has a family. Think about it. Like if you go up against like a crime syndicate or any kind of big crime thing, even just a asshole mob that looked like this guy was in, you know, it's like those guys, they don't play by the rules. They would go after your family. Like that's the scary part, is you almost like, how do you do your job? Like that extra level of like intensity of like, you can't just solve crimes and arrest the guys. You have to worry about revenge or retribution against you and your family. So it's like, so I think they kind of brought that sort of to the trailer, a little bit of that extra level of threat of like, not just him, but everyone around him is sort of being threatened, which it looks like it, because there's people jumping and hitting them with machetes.
Well, the cool last shot is of the cell phone of him looking at the camera saying, you know,
so creepy.
But and of course they released the film date. They did it via social media. So they did it on Instagram, and they just said, mark the date, brace yourself for a thrilling police drama. Nothing's black and white in the line of duty.
Oh my gosh.
So they're sort of bringing that in. So that's kind of cool.
And it's going to come out February 20th, if anyone's wondering. There it is, right on the poster. So this is a pretty cool poster. That's a great logo. I like how On Duty is kind of trapped inside the font. There. That's a pretty cool logo. And then we have the classic, the heads up here are like the containing device of the moon. Looks like a lot of it taking place at night. Little cluster of the mob.
Keep that poster up for a sec.
And then we have like the city back there. The city on either side.
Yeah.
Like different scenes. I wonder if that's significant. It'll be interesting to kind of, I always sometimes like to see the movie and then go into it later and see the story they were telling just in the poster that we don't know yet.
Another thing that's interesting that this poster shows us is I think hair, makeup, wardrobe plays a huge part in films when they create a look for a character. And a lot of times there'll be a lot of discussion where you'll take an actor and you'll try different hairstyles. You'll try different mustaches. You'll try different costumes. Like, does he have his shirt buttoned up all the way? Is he the guy that's going to button it up to the top? Is he going to wear the uniform? Is he going to be like the guy, who has the scraggy looking hair, or is he going to be real straight laced looking guy with a haircut? And it looks to me like they really put some thought into the way this guy looks. He's sort of got this iconic look. Look at his haircut. He's very straight, very straight, clean cut. His the angular shape of his mustache, and the way the actor is pushing it here too, that he's really looking into the camera. Everybody else is kind of looking a little bit off, but he is looking at us. He is like badass. He's like got you in his sights, and he's not messing around. And I think that the look, I think they spent a lot of time, the very straight epaulets that he's wearing, the straight sides of his haircut, the straight sides of his mustache. I think it all kind of it all adds up into this really iconic look for him. And that first shot that you see of him in the film when he comes in is no mistaking him, and his look goes a lot towards saying a lot about his character. I think so that's something I always like to mention, is hair, makeup, and wardrobe really contribute a lot to the iconic nature of certain kinds of characters.
And look how neat and tidy they are, and then you see this kind of straggly bunch here at the bottom around the car, and they're all contained inside of him. So it's like, it's pretty cool. Nicely done. Oh, there's Mark. How long were you sitting there waiting for us?
I was looking for a fake mustache, but couldn't find
God, shut up already. I can't breathe. All right. So this looks like a really cool movie. I love a good crime drama thriller.
It looks good.
Looks well done.
Sure does.
I can't wait to see this guy who's going to kill all these fucks.
So February 20th, Officer on Duty. So check it out, everybody. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.